Hey y'all, welcome back to Gadfly, the podcast about third parties, fringe candidates, and just generally weird American electoral history. I'm Dusty Wilson.
I'm Una O'Leary.
And there was a gift this weekend, Una, a true gift. Because I was working on the podcast episode, and I knew the California Secretary of State had a filing deadline for the recall election on Friday. I figured, maybe on Monday they'll have all the names out, and then at midnight Eastern time, the fucking list drops.
Oh, damn.
And, oh my goodness, it was like the nerdiest Christmas for me, looking over this amazing list. And so I had to do a complete 180. If the list drops, we're doing an episode on who is running for this crazy ass recall election.
Oh boy.
So
Dusty, you do so much for this podcast.
No, I had to. I wouldn't have been able to sleep at night. I would have been constantly wondering who actually got in, who was full of bullshit, who was running a grift. Spoiler alert, a lot, but all different grifts. This is like an ambrosia salad of grift.
This is like when you used to have to wait to find out concert lineups.
Oh my God. Yep. You had to ask your friend who worked at like the local alt magazine to be like, oh, who's actually going to be headlining? Can you give me some information real early? That would be great.
Find a cousin who worked at Sam Goody. Hope for the best.
Just constantly saying the Pixies were getting back together. Dude, trust me.
I know you were being lied to, but you just needed to hear the lie.
I'm telling you, man, the Pixies are getting back together at Warped Tour. It's going to be fucking sweet.
Good Lord.
So all of that being said, today's episode is about the list of candidates that have dropped for the California Gubernatorial recall election. Pew, 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 pew.
Pew, 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 pew. Pew, 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 pew.
I think I have a button for that on here. I just don't know where.
I have one on my phone.
Oh my
Hold
God.
on.
Love it. So the list drops, and the number one thing that blew my mind is the number of candidates. Una, you remember back in 2003, there was like 150 candidates?
Sure, yeah.
This time it is a paltry 41.
Oh.
So it was expected. There were about 92 people who stated that they had an interest in running. And of that, only 41 people were able to get everything in on time.
It's been a hard year.
I get that. I do. And the guidelines to be able to get on the ballot this time around have changed. So for the initial one, you needed 50 signatures and I think like $200 or something like that. This time around, you needed 7,000 signatures.
In a pandemic?
Mm-hmm. And you also needed to submit your last 2 years of tax returns, amongst a few other things. Like the fees in a number of regards, I think added up to around at minimum $4,000. But yeah, so it's definitely more expensive, involved a lot more work, and you had to give up your taxes because of that law California passed saying if you're running for office, you got to show your taxes.
Wow.
Yeah. So that ended up knocking down the number of folks down to 41. 41
Which
brave souls.
Was intentional, right? I feel like this was intentional. Like
at least the signature requirement was enough for them to just be like, guys, we can't fucking do this again.
Like, I'm so tired.
My paper vendor is furious. Guys, every forest is on fire. I cannot make more paper.
Till you show me how to use sea kelp or bamboo to do this.
Look, we're just going to give everyone a marble, and you put your marble in a jar. There'll be 41 jars.
We're going to do this power lotto style.
Oh my God, yes. Oh my God. Yeah. So 41 people ended up making it onto the ballot. So we are going to be talking about not all 41, because that would be like an 8-episode sort of thing. And the other reason behind that is when I was going through the list, I was kind of being a dick about who we were going to talk about. One of the categories I had is this person seriously running? And one of the qualifications for that is you have to have a campaign website. If you don't have that, you're not seriously running. I do not give a fuck. Or if you have a Twitter or a Facebook, you have to be talking about your campaign regularly and talking about what you believe. You don't have that, I do not believe you are seriously running. That being said, there are a couple people who are not in my definition seriously running because they're kind of fucking great in terrible ways.
Excellent.
Yeah, and so I've kind of narrowed it down to a few in each category to talk about. We're going to be glossing over some stuff really quick, but there are some candidates that I think are really worth looking into, especially because there's just some odd stuff that's going on with this particular recall, and some political ideologies are being left out in the cold on this. So before we get into that, I think it's important that we talk about how things are going for our good old hunk, Gavin Newsom. He's
so dreamy.
His hair still looks really good. I don't know how people pull off mousse well. And maybe that's just because I've always had curly hair and it's never worked for me. And it blows my mind every time I see his hair. It's so frustrating.
No, I'm very into the Patrick Bateman, but we'll call you a lift.
Yeah. He'll just be like, all right, I found some good in you. I will pretend to murder someone else in your stead. Yeah, and so as of right now, things are looking pretty good. He's sitting at about 55% support, which means 55% of the population is looking like they're going to vote no on the recall, which means he gets to keep his job, and all of this was a big old waste of time. That being said, that is a really narrow margin of error, especially living in a world where polls really haven't adapted to polling Trumpists, because it's kind of hard to poll people who think your organization is purposely lying to people. Typically, you don't want to talk to folks like that. There was a poll that came out a few days ago from Fabrizio Lee, which is one of the lesser known pollsters, but they do amazing fucking work, where they were looking at the 5 different sectors of Republicans that currently exist and got some amazing data on Trump supporters. It is excellent. Would highly recommend checking it out. But outside of that, it's really hard to be like, hey, I'm calling from Quinnipiac, the people who said your God King wouldn't win. Do you have a moment at dinner to answer some questions?
I hope they have self-care.
I hope so too. It's probably not a great job. But yeah, and so I don't doubt that the numbers are that. And I would honestly, I have to couch this right at the top. I would genuinely be surprised if Gavin Newsom lost. But it's in the margin of error right now if we're just looking at the data.
And for clarity, so the list dropped of possible candidates against Gavin Newsom, but there's also the vote to go ahead with the recall?
That is correct.
Like that comes after the
Same
list
day.
of potential.
Yeah. So
people are voting right now?
They will be, yeah. So it's the exact same thing that happened in 2003, is that the timeline worked out perfectly, that on the ballot, you're both going to get the question, should we recall Gavin Newsom? And if so, who do you replace him with? Yeah, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be fine. I don't know why your throat's trying to kill itself right now. It's gonna be fine. And so there have been a couple of polls that make it look like Gavin might not be having as good of a time as believed. But a lot of those polls are also run directly either by Republican campaigns that are trying to boost their numbers, or are noted pollsters that have a particular political bias. This happens on both sides. You get this a lot. It sucks, but it's you gotta do a little theater to make your folks feel better and then release that to the public. But in general, probably going to be Gavin. He's probably going to be fine. But we're here to talk about that other 5%. The chance that, the Democrats, a party known for stability and always making the right decisions during clutch moments.
Listen. Pawns and chaos.
As we've said before, it's not chaos when it's your daily life. And so really all Gavin needs to do is, just not fuck up. Just keep being pretty, keep doing your thing, and you're probably going to be fine. Which brings me to the first way that Gavin's team has fucked up. It's minor, but it's one of those things that just makes you really fucking mad. So going into the recall, he, on the initial ballot of, are we going to recall Gavin or not? In the paperwork that he filled out, there's an option to say, oh, what is your political party? And Gavin's team left it blank. And so on the recall petition, Gavin's political association will not be listed.
So are they doing that to not confuse, but obfuscate people in case people are just like, fuck Democrats? Gavin Newsom doesn't say anything.
Yeah. That would have been a better explanation than what happened, because immediately after the deadline passed, Gavin's team went bug fuck. They went straight to the Secretary of State, Shirley Weber, who is an appointee of Gavin Newsom, and said, hey, Cheryl, we forgot to do this. Can you please fix this for us? Okay, bye.
Oh my God. So sorry.
Yeah.
It's so my bad.
Look, if it's one of those things where it's just like, I get why you're doing it. You're calling in a favor. But one of the biggest arguments about Democrats is that they pull shit like this, where it's like minor favors and to cover up, I don't know, casual incompetence. It adds to a narrative, and it fucking sucks. And so Shirley Weber, being a professional, immediately responded to that by saying, I can't make that decision, ask a judge. So the Newsom campaign took it to a judge, and on July 12th, the judge simply stated, you missed the deadline, no special treatment, sorry dude. I think if they just played it off of just being like, yeah, we meant to do that, this is a tactical decision, I think, you know what, I wouldn't have agreed with it, but I think it would have been better than just immediately going to the Secretary of State and calling in a favor.
I feel like for me personally, the best option would have been just to not go to Shirley, that is just own up to me, be like, yeah, we fucked up. You know how you sometimes forget to sign a page on your lease or something? Yeah. It's been a rough year.
Yeah, 100%.
We get it.
Oh, sorry, I missed that. I've been dealing with this thing called COVID. I'm trying to fix shit. It's not like we completely missed the deadline to even be on the ballot. We're good. It's gonna be fine. So that, that's just one slip up. It's a minor thing, but it's one of those, it's just something that kind of adds on to a story tale as old as goddamn time. And sure, it might lose a couple of votes for Gavin, but all in all, I mean, he's probably going to be fine. But, they are kind of taking things a little too easy, sort of like how Gray Davis took things a little too easy in 2003. But the one thing they're doing differently than Gray Davis is the Democratic Party appears to have completely cleared the field of any other major Democrat to be on the recall ballot. So in 2003, you had Cruz Bustamante, the lieutenant governor of Gray Davis, was there as like a safety net in the event that people wanted to recall Gray Davis, but still wanted a Democrat. This time around, not even Lieutenant Governor Eleni Kounalakis is on the list of recall candidates. There's no one, not a single, there are Democrats, but there's not a single office-holding Democrat in the fucking list. They have decided it is Gavin or I am burning down the house.
It's Gavin or GTFO.
I don't know. I feel like I could have a nice long talk about this and probably be persuaded that it's the way to go because, I've talked to friends and a number have said they would vote to recall Gavin if there was a more progressive candidate on the ballot that they could support. So I can understand why they wouldn't want to get someone like, I'll just say Shahid Buttar. Let's say he's the guy who ran against Nancy Pelosi from the left in San Francisco.
Okay.
Like if he decided he was going to run, then a large number of people might want to support him over Gavin. And so I can kind of understand that whole thing of just like, no, we need to kind of force everyone to vote for Gavin this time. We can't fuck this up. But at the same time, Eleni Kounalakis is, in theory, politically the exact fucking same as Gavin Newsom. So why wouldn't you have this backup just in fucking case?
Because it would divide up the vote. And then you end up with some shaman. I don't know.
Spoilers. I did tell Una about one candidate, and we're about to actually talk about that.
I feel like, yes, you did tell me, but I feel like I could have just used that word.
That's true.
Still hit a bullseye.
Yeah, shaman is not as uncommon a word in 2021 as it has been in the past.
Less so in California.
And so I personally feel like this is a huge mistake. I also understand why they're doing it. I think it is a bad idea.
I will also be the one to stand up and say, it's so easy to pick on the Democrats and like every little thing that they fuck up is because we have to be so goddamn perfect because we're always on the defense against fucking fascists. So
not wrong. Yeah.
They missed a line item in filing and it was dumb. They haven't abused the Hatchet Act. Like
true.
Can we
Yeah, it is. You're right. It is kind of bonkers how something small and meaningless can ruin a Democrat's career. Just out of sheer, we made a story out of it. And then, Paul Gosar can go out there and just be a blatant white nationalist and be perfectly fucking fine.
Yes. Matt Gaetz could be inching closer towards an FBI interrogation for bringing underage girls to the Bahamas.
I did not know what noun you were going to pick, and you chose the high road.
Any of them.
Yeah. So, all right. So
keep it out and it can be a choose your own verb.
Yeah, I think a lot of it for me is that I'm just so used to this small shit derailing the Democrats, which like I'm not a member of the Democratic Party. They're folks I vote for on a regular basis because what's my option?
Sure.
And it'd be nice if there were other options, which is why I like talking about this podcast.
Yeah.
But it's that whole thing of just like if what you genuinely care about is keeping your party in charge, why wouldn't you just have a safety net? Why wouldn't you have a backup? So that being said, there are 8 Democrats who are going to be on the ballot. And surely one of these people are going to be a solid replacement. Who knows? One of them actually might be a really good progressive candidate for folks who are really needing that and wanting that. So for one, there's a guy named Brandon Ross, doesn't have a working campaign page. It is a gateway error, and that is it. Then there's Patrick Kilpatrick, who is an actor. He's been in about 150 movies. His biggest claim to fame is playing the tertiary bad guy in the Jean-Claude Van Damme film Death Warrant. And his campaign page is just his fan page where you can buy his book. That's it. Aside from that, there's a guy named Joel Ventresca who is based out of San Francisco, and he still hasn't updated his page from when he ran for office there in 2019. So, rule I have, if you have not updated your campaign page to say that you are running for governor, you are not serious. You had time.
You were at home.
Yeah. Call your fucking nephew. He'll change a couple headers for you.
Yeah, pay $8 to Wix.
There's Daniel Watts, and his campaign page is bereft of really any platform or information. You get Jacqueline McGowan, who actually has a platform and a page, but her platform is entirely based on improving the cannabis industry in the state. So she's doing one of those campaigns where she's clearly not attempting to win, but really wants to push a specific viewpoint, and ideally to do that through votes. Who knows how it's going to work, but I got no complaints on trying to make that industry work better. And then you have ice skating coach and recent college graduate John Drake, and he at least has a very professional campaign page, but his platform only includes general statements that can really kind of be boiled down to fix it, do that different. We should look at this. It's really disappointing because that leaves us with only two other people. And one of them is this woman by the name of Holly Bad, or it might be Baddie. I'm really not sure. It's Baade. And I think the best way to describe her, and I feel like I am being perfectly fair here, is she is a white self-described ayahuasca shaman. Now, ayahuasca, I'm not super familiar with it, but to my understanding, it makes you trip all the balls, and it's considered very revered in South American culture and has been appropriated by white folks on a need to fucking trip into their own subconscious.
Like, it's not, from my understanding, is it's not appropriated in that it's like a party drug or anything. It's just genuinely appropriated in that, like, white people now get together, do ayahuasca, and then that is supposedly like a trip. And
it's kind of like if Eat, Pray, Love was a narcotic.
Yes.
I mean, at least the way that it is being used by a certain group of folks.
Would I like to try it? Sure.
Yes,
absolutely.
That would be great.
I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm better than anyone else.
No, this is a lot of jealousy for the most part, but it sounds great. But Holly, she has no campaign website, but she did supply a link to her private sanctuary in Marin County called Medicine, Una. For the grand championship of the Gadfly Spelling Bee, spell medicine.
No, is there a Y somewhere in there?
Oh, there should be. Oh, that would make it better. No, it's slightly less dumb than that.
How is it spelled?
Mettacine. Medicine.
No.
Yeah, like Mettacine, I think I would have been able to accept that, but like it's a name that when I hear it, it immediately made myself think, okay, so this is a compound in the middle of Marin County run by an ayahuasca shaman. Is this a cult?
This is someone realizing that medicine.com was already bought up.
What do you mean medicine.org is purchased? And so, look, I can't go out here and say that this particular ayahuasca retreat is a cult. I can't do it. I will be sued if I say one way or another. However, they do have a list of programs that they offer. You do have to email them directly for pricing, and they will not give you pricing until you become a member. Take of that as you will. But they have a series of youth programs, and it's very, very Star Child bullshit where it's like, take your child who can see through interdimensional planes and tell them how much more special they are. And one of the things that they teach them is something called I Am Activity. And Una, if you would be so kind, I would love to very quickly tell you about my favorite cult of all time.
Oh, yes, please.
So I Am Activity was founded in Chicago by Guy and Edna Ballard in the 1930s. So it turns out, while Guy was climbing Mount Shasta in California, he was suddenly able to speak to Saint Germain, who is not a Catholic saint. He is a New Age person. He's considered to be the dude who founded New Age thought and New Age theory, and just gave himself the name of Saint Germain. And it also should be noted that when he was having this conversation with Saint Germain had been dead for quite some time.
Oh, of course.
So anyway, Saint Germain told Guy, and eventually Edna, that they had the power to talk to not just him, but all of the great thinkers of the past. But also, a few had returned to Earth, and all of them happened to be living in Tibet. And since Guy and Edna were so special, they could communicate with them telepathically whenever they wanted.
That's so convenient.
It's really great. I mean, it's really nice of Saint Germain, just, seeing a dude, he's just like, holy shit, I was hiking Shasta, and you're in fucking Shasta, man? What are the fucking odds?
In my mind, because Saint Germain also sounds like it should be an R&B singer from the 90s. Like, I'm picturing Genuine.
Oh my god, a shitty Genuine.
Yes, Saint Germain.
Oh my god.
This record was produced by Saint Germain and Babyface.
Buy the copy of Saint Germain's newest album at a record exchange near you.
Only available at Tower Records.
And so they went back to Chicago, started telling people about this amazing fucking skill they have. But the thing is, since only Guy and Edna could do this, people had to join their group to know what these thinkers were telling them. And so they created this group called the Society of Saint Germain. And it kind of turns out some of their earliest members were cast-offs from the Silver Shirts, which if you don't remember them, they were an organization founded by William Dudley Pally, who was the neo-Nazi of America. Actually, no, he's not even a neo-Nazi. He was the Nazi of America during World War II and started the Silver Shirts as a take-on of the brown shirts.
Come on!
Yeah, look, Nazis got to have a home somewhere. And why not Chicago?
Oh.
I mean, and it kind of makes sense. I mean, some Nazis are super into that metaphysical shit. It's without that, there would be one Indiana Jones movie.
Right.
And so what the I Am movement, the Saint Germain Society would end up creating was kind of a form of New Age Christianity. And to this day, the foundation still owns a skyscraper in downtown Chicago.
No.
It is still in their name. There is a St. Germain Foundation bookstore at the ground floor. They own all of the units in the building. It is...
They're making rent money?
Oh yeah, they are making prime real estate money.
Oh, I hate this.
And if there's anything that I think this money is going to, it would probably be their yearly pageant that they produce in their amphitheater on Mount Shasta. I believe it's called the I Am Care pageant. Essentially, it is a pageant about the life of Jesus Christ. And you can watch the whole thing, all 4 hours of it on Vimeo. And you bet your ass the first act break is Jesus finding out that he has the power of I Am activity and can communicate with the great thinkers of the world.
This is some MLM bullshit.
It's bananas. It surprises me both how big the cast is for this show and how long it goes, and they're performing it on AstroTurf. The costumes are, I mean, they're better than some things I've seen. I mean, but also I'm sure they made them once with all that rent money and then have just repeated them every single year.
Wow.
So if you just want to have a weird time, it's not very funny because it's just the passion play and that's it. I mean, there's not a lot of goofs and yuck-em-ups in a passion play, but
no,
it's interesting for about 10 minutes.
Oy.
So I am impressed that this person made it onto the ballot, but one of the people who didn't from the 2003 election, who I really thought was going to make a push this year, 8th place finisher Mary Carey.
Mary Carey?
Yeah, she was running, didn't make it on the ballot. I'm honestly kind of bummed.
Oh,
but you know,
rooting for you.
I know it is what it is. But the bummer behind all of this is we're left with one Democrat, Una. There is one Democrat left,
Oh, no.
and by default, he's the best. So I'm gonna. This hurts. This one hurts. Are you familiar with a guy by the name of Kevin Pathrath?
No.
All right. I don't think you will, but I think some people, once we get more towards the end, are gonna realize who this weird fucking guy is. So Kevin Pathrath was born somewhere in Germany in 1992. That's right. He's 29, Una. He is 29 and running for governor of California, a state that could be its own country.
It's such a red flag.
So his family immigrated to America, and as he grew up, Kevin had dreams of being a cop. But all of that would change during a fateful school trip to Paris, where he would meet a Californian by the name of Lauren. Now, the two fell in love, and in the biggest case of parents probably allowing way too much, Kevin immediately moved out to Los Angeles to finish his last year of high school and lived with Lauren and her parents.
Excuse me?
Yep. He comes back from Paris. He's been there for a week. He's like, Mom, Dad, Dankeschön, I'm in love. I met this woman named Lauren, and funny story, I'm moving to Los Angeles. I am transferring schools, and I am moving in with her family. Somehow they're cool with it.
That's where I'm hung up. I can see European parents somehow being cool with this.
Yeah.
I can't see Lauren's American parents being cool with any of this.
Yeah.
Especially because they're now housing this guy.
Exactly, yeah. Like, I could definitely maybe see it if they're like old world Germans who are just like, oh, you're 18 and you're not married yet? You're going to be a widow.
Or just like,
Get out
it's
there.
like, well, yeah, we have the days. People have sex. Go.
Uh-huh.
Boy, explore your body.
Yeah, it does make me wonder if that was like the thing in Los Angeles where it's just like, look, man, I know you love my daughter. It's totally fucking cool, bro. Just to give you a heads up, there are no other bedrooms. And I'm just gonna let that lay there, man. You do you.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's I can't think of a single iteration of this that makes sense. Either he moved out to Los Angeles to a pair of parents who didn't want him there to begin with and grudgingly let him stay on the couch, or they were just super into it and just let it happen because their love was that pure. And I will say the two of them did get married, and they're still married to this day. So they might have just made a very compelling argument.
Cute? Yeah, I mean, okay.
Yeah,
fine.
I mean, it's infinitely less creepy that it worked out, and at least, it's just very weird.
I don't know. I'm trying to imagine like someone shows up and it's like, no, get
a
a studio. You're not here to shut up my daughter.
Let's even frame it this way. Una, imagine who you were dating at 17.
Right? Oh my God.
Move across the country to live with their parents at that time because your love was that fucking strong? And the answer, because you're all juniors in high school, is yes, of course I will do it. I will do anything. But as adults, hindsight being what it is.
He couldn't, write some shitty poetry on a Tumblr post and
oh my God, that's what we all did. Pretend you can write sonnets and move on, man.
Yeah, all right.
You have AOL at this point. Fucking talk. Anyway, so that's how Kevin ends up in Los Angeles. And like I said, the two got married, and I'm not entirely sure what Lauren's parents did, but it seems like there's a decent amount of money that comes from that family just from some context clues that I'm getting from this.
Ooh,
so at the age of 18, Kevin would get his first job managing properties. Yeah,
from
go
his
on.
Future in-laws?
I don't know. I honestly don't know who owned these properties or who was just like, yeah, an 18-year-old, you can do this job that like grown adults have a tough time doing.
Yeah, or like getting said job.
Like work at a Hardee's, man. You're not better than us.
I think this is my continual hang up is that like, oh, you got to have like unlimited sex with your sweetheart in high school and you got a job right after graduation?
Uh-huh.
Wait,
You
no,
didn't
I'm
even have
sorry.
to go to college.
Are you sure he was born in 1992? None of this makes any goddamn sense. I'm so mad.
I've seen the pictures. He is a young man. Yeah, it's a frustrating series of luck that with I think anyone else I would be happy. But I will continue the story.
All right.
Yeah, so age 18, he's managing properties in Los Angeles, a town known for very chill tenants. But this would also be the year that he would embark on the two biggest careers that would make his life. The first of which was property investment. Now, initially, Lauren and Kevin went in together on a condemned home for themselves, and they rebuilt it, kept it as their own, and then moved on to a new property. And this is one of the things that makes me believe that Lauren's family comes from a shit ton of money.
100%.
Because even buying a broken house in Los Angeles is a lot of goddamn money.
Also, any chance you have a year of when that happened? Because I'm trying to do the math of like, he's doing this, it's probably pre-2008, right?
It would have been 2010.
Oh,
So they might have been buying stuff that had been foreclosed on.
But you would still need a hefty amount of money, especially in Los Angeles.
Well, and if it's a condemned home, I mean, it's not going to be water damage because it's Los Angeles. I mean, unless someone left the sinks running, but it's definitely going to be termites. It's definitely going to be bugs and slugs and other such things that run around. Meth. Got to watch out for the meth slugs. Those things are...
Listen, you get a condemned house that used to run meth through the bath, and you better be sure that you don't have small children with you.
Yep. Guys, we gotta change how many pipes? We need all pipes.
How about knock down all the walls? How about remove the building completely?
Guys, I think the ghosts here are addicted to meth. Is that part of the contracting? Is that in the budget? Yeah, so they buy a condemned house when they're both 18, get it completely renovated, and then they buy their next property, renovate that, and then start renting it out. And so this is something that they kept doing and ended up just accumulating properties and building out rental spaces.
Yeah, sweet, sweet passive income.
And in 2017, they took this passive income and expanded their company into the Pathrath organization, which would include construction services. However, the problem is they ended up shutting it down after about a year and a half. And this was because Kevin, he made a real innocent mistake. He never budgeted for the renovation to have any mistakes.
Oh.
Yeah, he was just like, this is the budget. If, it's going to cost this much to fix everything. If nothing goes wrong, if we find nothing new, that's the budget. Have fun.
So no, 20% wiggle room, which I think
it was 0% wiggle room. It was, this is the budget. What are you telling me that the house is falling apart?
Good.
Has he never watched HGTV? Does he believe that every single house flipping show where they're like, oh man, the pipes here are racist. I don't know, man. We gotta fix all this. Something always goes wrong all the time.
Nothing has gone wrong in his life. He met a girl. Always went back to her house. The parents took him in. He got to have sex at a young age.
Is this really what we're most angry about?
Making tons of money.
Are we genuinely most angry that this kid was fucking at 17? Because I'll get on board. I'll do it. I will join you on this wonderful, wonderful boat.
Saying as a horny, ugly duckling at 17.
Yes, all of us, but yeah, except for Kevin. Hunky fucking Kevin.
Yeah.
Ugh, he's an attractive man. There's also that.
This is why there's no Kevin podcast, because he didn't have hardship and didn't build character.
Well, yeah, and so this new construction business falls apart after a year and a half because they lost $1 million in 1 year.
God.
Because they didn't budget for, simple mistakes. But despite this, by the year 2021, the couple owned 22 properties with active tenants in all of them. But the real money for Kevin doesn't just come from rental properties. Because I know you said this is why he doesn't have a podcast, but it's 100% why he has a YouTube channel. No! You see, this is where everyone knows Kevin Pathrath. They know him more as Meet Kevin, the YouTube channel where he talks about retail investment and how to start your own landlord properties and talking about crypto and all sorts of ways that you can make money as a young person.
Oh, barf.
He started the channel at the age of 18, and by 2020, Kevin hit the 1 million subscriber mile marker. So he's got that nice platinum-looking thing in his house. And as is tradition, when you get big on YouTube, the real you tends to come out. Mainly because journalists get bored sometimes, and they are just like, what's an easy thing to do? Oh yeah, I'll look into the background of a YouTube person who's big. So in 2019, Curbed did a whole piece on landlord influencers, a phrase that just makes me want to barf everywhere.
I just threw up in my mouth.
And the piece would note a video that Kevin had done where he talked about essentially how to not get screwed by your tenants. And it gave a pretty good look under the hood of how he operates. For instance, he will not rent to anyone with a credit score of under 700. And this is despite the fact that he openly acknowledges that credit scores have a history of being somewhat fucking racist.
Yeah, they shouldn't exist, period.
Wait, what are you saying? That there shouldn't be 3 companies that pick a number out of a hat that will lower the number if I pay my credit card bills, but will raise it if I just pay enough?
And if I incur more debt?
Oh my God, I hate the system that we have.
And the fact that the numbers themselves make about as much sense as SAT or LSAT numbering.
I mean, at least ACT is a score between 5 and 32. Like, 32 is not a round number, but I at least get what you're fucking saying. But yeah, so that's one thing he does. And he considers anyone who rents to be someone who, quote, doesn't have a very good imagination. Because you know what, Una, if they did, then they would just go out and buy a rundown property and fix it themselves instead of renting.
Well, I'm sorry, I don't shit out money either.
Look, I'm sorry I wasn't on the bone train to Happy Town at the age of 17, yeah. Kevin. I'm just gonna
sorry I didn't marry into a nest egg.
I mean, I'm glad it's true love, but fuck you, man.
Yeah, fuck you.
The article is very quick to say, here's how much a house costs in Atlanta compared to Los Angeles. And even there, like, that's a bet. Like, it's something that almost no one could fucking do if you're living on a paycheck to paycheck life.
Yeah, exactly. And it's so infuriating because, like, yeah, Kevin, we all had the same thought in 2010, but none of us had any fucking money.
And even now, it's like, you know, I'm living a better financial life than I did back in, say, 2010, which I believe was the time I'd gotten laid off for the second time in 3 years. And I still couldn't do that if I wanted to.
No.
Oh my God, I want to swirly his channel. But yeah, and so he also encourages landlords to lie to their tenants about whether or not they own the property. Because if your tenants know that you own the property, then they're going to expect you to fix things. But if you say you're just the manager, then you're like, oh, I got to talk to the owner. We'll see what happens.
There better be laws against that.
No. And he's even said that if they find out you're the owner, because it's pretty easy to look that shit up, you tell them that there's actually a group of owners and that you don't get the only say. And so he actually set of an example where he called his wife and said, hey, they want us to trim the palm trees. And she's like, is it in their lease? He says, no. And then she says, fuck that, not doing it. And then he goes back to the tenants. It's just like, sorry, guys, other owner said no.
So,
which is, as an example, is very weird. I've never lived in an apartment building where it's my responsibility to trim the trees.
I mean, general maintenance is like, yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. Otherwise, you are a slumlord.
Yep. I knew there was a phrase for what he was doing, and that is the exact one. Allegedly. And so that's just kind of how he runs his life and his channel. And his whole thing is, you know, he believes that anyone who is going after him for his success or claiming that his ideas won't work for them are just people who have given up. That if they just watched his YouTube channel and, you know, and liked and maybe subscribed, they could have the life that he has.
No, if I smash that like button, it's just going to tell me all of my fears about landlords.
Oh, no, well, you also have to hit the bell. That's important now, too. So
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, there's a bell function that it gives them permission to give you a text on your phone when a new video has shown up.
Ew, fuck no.
It is not invasive in the slightest.
Ugh.
But in a real beautiful moment, in 2020, Kevin would be featured on CNBC on a show called Millennial Money, which I just assume ran 4 episodes because I can't really see making, you know, thoroughly compelling TV when every episode is a millennial grabbing the host by the lapels and screaming, where the fuck is the money? Tell me where it is. And look, I'm not going to watch this screw-faced fuck on a TV show, but CNBC did make the delightful discovery that Kevin's income really was not coming from rent or stock investments at all. Almost all of his money was coming from his YouTube channel.
Which, Dusty, do we need to pivot to YouTube?
That train's gone. YouTube's already figured out ways to make that money less good.
Fair enough.
Like, unless we end up getting really good in animation and editing, I'm sorry, man. That's if we'd have hopped in on this in maybe 2005 and kept it going, world is our oyster.
That's so creepy and kind of crazy that,
yeah.
Well, I'm sure you had sponsorships and like ad rep. Okay.
Yeah, you got that Raid Shadow Legends money, man. It's going to fucking, it's going to feed a child. And yeah, and I think that's something that's incredibly common in YouTube culture. I don't know if that's the right word, where you have a lot of people who kind of portray themselves as incredibly successful in business and whatever their focus is for their channel. But the sole income they have is from their channel, while the other money they have in these businesses are just completely falling apart or just completely ignored because you don't need to do it anymore.
So the Donald Trump effect.
Oh, 100%. Only YouTube.
Yeah.
They're watching a character who thinks he's a landlord, but instead he's just a jackass. But you know what? Who knows what? Maybe, just maybe, this guy actually has really good ideas. And he could be, and I will repeat this again, the one valid Democrat on the ballot might actually be good. So we're going to look at his platform, which he has dubbed the California Future Model, which to me just sounds like a really crappy modular home.
Yep. That's a tract housing.
So he designed a 5-part plan to be completed over the remaining year of Newsom's tenure. And this is something I actually really like about it, is he recognizes that if you win, you have a 1-year tenure as governor until the 2022 election. So you're not really going to have a lot of time to get shit done. So he has developed this 5-part plan for shit that he thinks he can finish in 1 year. So part 1, no homeless on our streets within 60 days.
I
mean, I initially thought genocide, but we'll read them. Because that's the only way. It's not a good answer. So the way that he would do it is he would use emergency powers or like an executive order to create, quote, a centralized medical and substance, mental health and educational support. He would also somehow make them immediately available. So he would create like a shelter of sorts, you know, like I don't know, like a drop-in center. I don't know. It's kind of hard to describe because these things don't already exist. I don't know. This guy's just so forward thinking. But yeah, he wants to create a ton of these, and he wants them to essentially exist within 30 days. They would offer 3 meals a day, no matter what, working showers, no matter what, and free hygiene supplies, no matter what. And he would make this happen by enlisting the California National Guard to do it. Not the Army Corps of Engineers. You would bring in the California National Guard to build all these places, and they have to do it in a month. Because you see, when you get to the end of the month, that's where phase 2 comes in. And phase 2 is when he finally starts trying to figure out where to house them. Doesn't say where, doesn't say how, but that's when it's going to start. And I will say, this is at least one step above what I was seeing a lot from other candidates before they didn't make the cut. A very popular thing for the candidates who didn't make it were essentially homeless town.
Yeah.
It's just like, we're
Hooverville 2.0.
Oh, 100%. It's like, we are going to take a bunch of land about 10 miles north of the Salton Sea. We're going to build as much of a, I don't know, intern camp as we can.
Just ignore the smell, guys.
Yeah, we're going to give everyone everything that they need. One person in particular had a plan where, you know, you're free to leave anytime you want, but if you are caught camping outside in public, then you are forcibly taken back and you have to stay there for a month, turning it into a literal internment camp.
I mean, okay, I will give it to him. I honestly just assumed the plan was to Giuliani, just like throw all the homeless onto a bus and send them back to Detroit and New York City.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I don't know. I'm so tired of not even good businessmen, shitty businessmen being like, yeah, politics. Like, you have no idea. You don't even know how the product pipeline works in your own for-profit field, let alone the non-for-profit public good of government.
Yeah, like, I'm pretty sure the Los Angeles Mission would gladly talk to you about all the difficulties that they face offering shelter to people in the city of Los Angeles, of getting together supplies, the difficulty of ensuring that everyone has a bed, blankets, hygiene products.
Like you talk,
safety,
one of the huge things that comes up in terms of rehousing vulnerable peoples in Chicago is that you actually talk to them and they're just like, no, I'm aware that there are beds available. I'm not safe there.
Exactly.
I have a community here.
Well, and then even on top of that, if you're saying, you know, we're going to ensure that you have all the mental health and detox needs possible, where the fuck are you going to find the psychologist? Where the fuck are you going to find the psychiatrist? Where are you going to find social workers? Where are you going to find detox specialists? Because I guarantee
pay them enough. I promise you're not going to pay enough, because I see how you pay teachers.
Yeah, and I guarantee with the last one, you're going to get a lot of fuckers from Teen Challenge and those sorts of fucking organizations that are going to tell you to pray away the heroin.
Yeah, it's like, well, you know, they came in with the best proposal. No, they didn't.
Nope. Oh my god. Yeah, and so it's, as an idea, I think it's an interesting idea. If it's like a 5-year plan of, we are going to build more shelters, the state is going to run them. We are not going to start accepting people until it is fully staffed by professionals and we can guarantee the safety of everyone inside. That it is a clear pipeline to housing. But you cannot fucking do that in 60 days. I guarantee in 60 days, you can't even put together a supply chain of hygiene products. It's not going to fucking happen.
All you've done is admitted that you have 5 friends whose pockets need lining. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all that's going to happen.
And
would I love to see that eventually? Like, would I love to live in this fantasy realm where it's like, yes, in 60 days, we are going to embark on this socialist utopia and actually take care of our population? 100%. But it's, yeah, like you said, it's just basic infrastructure. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. And it's like, you know, I'm not going to sit here on my, you know, rolly chair and pretend like I'm secretly holding on the solution to fixing houselessness. It's a complicated issue, and it's difficult because it's an issue that carries so much nuance that quote unquote common sense solutions don't work. And there's a lot of different places trying to figure out solutions. And weirdly enough, Salt Lake City's probably come about the closest, where their solution to houselessness is just give people a home.
Yeah.
It's not a perfect solution, and it requires a lot of work on the back end, but it's a really good way to give people at least some dignity.
Right. And then from there, you can actually grow towards mental health, towards recovery, because you're not stressed out wondering where you're going to sleep at night or not getting enough sleep.
Yeah. And I feel like so many of these substance use ideas come with the idea that their project is going to be so perfect that relapse will not happen, when relapse is the norm. It's no matter how hard you try, quitting drugs is tough. It is extraordinarily difficult. And
I feel like people are starting to cotton to that with the opioid problem. They're starting to recognize it's like, we have to be in this for the long haul. But I also wanted to mention before we finally get back to the, I don't know, 32 other candidates.
I was going to say, Kevin's one bad idea has given us like 20 minutes of conversation.
But you were saying how nuanced it is. And I think another point to mention too is so much of this is done at like the economist level of study. And it's like, that's all well and good, except when you start talking about homelessness, is like, thanks to like our psychotic Christian dogma that's just like born and bred into the country. It's like so much of it is irrational thought. Like it is illogical thought, because you're bringing in NIMBYism, you're bringing in people considering like, well, like I have to consider like the moral good of the person who's homeless, and I just don't think they're morally good. So why am I going to give them any money? And and then that just clogs up the pipes in terms of helping anyone.
Yeah. And we'll definitely cover a few of those later on. But for now, let's move on to idea 2. Reduce crime through new community-style policing and integration with what he calls future schools.
You know, it's so funny because I just watched RoboCop.
Look, all right, so that's a lot of words we have going on here. So essentially, he wants to increase training for police, don't defund them, in fact, give them more money, but also have police officers focus more on direct community policing to build trust, which depends on the cop.
Yeah, it's like they've been doing, like that's been built into cop training for the past 30 years. The definition of crazy is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result.
Well, then you're really going to love this new idea. No. So you know how libertarians, they're like one of their really good ideas is just releasing nonviolent drug offenders? Kevin has a different idea. What he thinks should happen for nonviolent inmates is they should be given the, quote, opportunity to do community service in the neighborhoods where they committed their crimes. And this would involve cleaning streets, roads, various aspects of towns and cities, and also removing graffiti. But by the way, this will not reduce the amount of your sentence. I believe this is called a chain gang.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So,
which brings us, sorry, go on.
Slavery.
I mean, look, it's use it or lose it with the 13th Amendment. You gotta.
Oh my God.
They're good enough to fight fires and almost die every year. They're good enough to clean up some graffiti. Number 3. So we brought up future schools. So future schools might be the dumbest fucking idea I have ever heard in my entire time on this channel. Una, I have heard some dumb ideas. Yeah, I have heard some, what's the word? Sociopathic ideas.
Indeed.
This one is just the dumbest. So a future school would, quote, combine college, trade school, high school, and financial education. These schools would allow entrance to 16-year-olds who would then graduate at the age of 18 debt-free. Now, some of the examples of training programs that these schools would teach would be computer programming, electrical engineering, and nursing.
For the ladies.
Yeah. But what they offered would be dictated by local businesses, because who knows what they need for their workforce more than local businesses? So it would kind of ebb and flow in a way that would guarantee that no matter what, when you graduated from the school, you'd have a job to go to. Now, if you're over the age of 18, you could still enter future school, and you will get $2,000 of free tuition to do so. And ideally, what old Kevin wants is he wants to use this as an opportunity as more future schools grow, that they'll just start consolidating community colleges and high schools together.
First of all, please stop saying future school.
Future school. No. Roger Corman presents Future School. I think it's probably the name that makes it feel like the dumbest idea to me, but for one, it's called a trade school. They already exist, my dude.
Yeah.
2, you can't teach someone to be a nurse, I don't think, in 2 years, especially when they're not even 18 yet. I'm pretty sure you have to have a medical background in some regard if you're going to nurse.
Yeah. And if kids are graduating in debt at 18, it's probably because there's like a lunch money hang up, which should be illegal anyway. I don't know. I get like...
Yeah, and at the same time, it's already unfair that we ask kids to know exactly what they want to do for the rest of their lives at the age of 18. Why would you make them decide that at 16? Look, Kevin, I get it. At 17, you realized who you were going to marry, what you wanted to do. You got to bone down in the den anytime you fucking wanted. I goddamn get it, bro. That's not everyone else's fucking life.
Yeah.
But yeah,
some of our rec room experiences were not great.
Exactly. It's all thumbs, man. You got to learn. And not at future school. yeah, like all of these things are things that could clearly exist within a high school with just, I don't know, a refurbished.
Just fucking fund it. Just
Exactly.
stop it. You're not Peter Thiel, and even Peter Thiel is an idiot. Stop trying to reinvent the wheel. Just fund the damn thing.
Yeah, like if you taught financial education in high school, that's all you need to fucking do. It would be goddamn great.
Also, it like sickens me when it's just like the 16-year-old in question is not a widget. Like,
yeah,
you know, they don't exist to then run Macy's in 2 years when they graduate.
Yeah.
I didn't have a great experience reading The Great Gatsby in high school, but it's part like the whole point is that like you are creating educated citizens who can critically think.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the other thing too is like if you're going to future school, are you still allowed to go to prom? Are you allowed to take part in theater programs at your old high school? Are you allowed to stay on the sports team? Like what? Oh. Yeah, how the fuck does this work? Are you going to willingly sacrifice 2 years of your life that could be spent in a high school environment that you may or may not like, but have benefits and things that you enjoy to go
fly
and
to Paris?
Yeah,
to learn your life. Yeah, on the other side of the country.
Future school. Yeah, or you go there to learn a trade because suddenly a business decides that's what they want. And who knows, in 2 years, they might not want that anymore.
They might not need it. Yeah, like, Kevin, do you have any idea how basic economics work?
He owns homes. He knows everything. Oh, my God. Oh, by the way, making housing affordable. If anything he should know how to do, it should be this. And he claims that rent is too damn high due to a lack of homes. More home, less rent, right?
Well, there is some truth to that. It's like you do need to like restock. However, you also need to pay people a living wage.
Yes. Also, he would use an executive order as well to order the building of 500,000 new units of housing each year for 5 years. And he would have the state supersede all local housing departments and dictate all regulations from the state level on how these homes were to be built. Which, this dude claims to be a moderate. I believe we talked about this in the last episode when Aled Humphrey was talking about economic planning, a key tenet of communism. Edward, this is economic planning. This is, if this was happening in Idaho, I'd say, dude, you're on it. You got it. But you can't fucking do this, man.
He just wants to be a housing czar.
Yeah, like, I guarantee if you do this, people will break your legs. Teamsters will show up in the middle of your condemned house and, like, run you through the fucking ringer. Not to mention the mob. The mob may have opinions.
I mean, the fucking, like, Neighborhood Alliance NIMBYs in San Francisco are gonna have a field day with you, sir.
Dude, hell hath no fury than the HOAs that are gonna go after this dude if he does this.
Would rather the mob.
Yeah, the mob will at least deal with you quickly and not send you a lot of letters. They will not kill you in a passive-aggressive tone. It's all aggressive.
Yeah, you know what? Stab me in the front.
But also to ensure that these homes get built as quickly as possible, he would fast-track building permits to any developer who paid a 5% fee to the state. I don't know of what, just a 5% fee, and suddenly, guess what? You're approved to make this house. We were able to fix. You know what? I think this might be a good question for, I don't know, an architect as to whether or not it's a good idea to verify whether something should be built after looking at it for a week.
This won't have consequences.
No, look, you're building a house near the shore. I'm sure the soil is sound and structural.
What fault line?
It's... God damn it. Oh my God. If he built all of these homes without even considering earthquakes.
You know he's not.
Oh my God. But then this is the shit that really kind of made me realize what the fuck's going on with this dude. Because we're actually going beyond a 5-point plan. It moves into 14. He lied. He lied about the number of his plans. And to make that even worse, he starts talking about traffics and roads, and he quotes the fucking Cato Institute, a libertarian think tank. Una, this motherfucker's a libertarian in donkey's clothing. And so I'm just fed up with this guy. I'm going to go through the rest. He wants to gut income tax. If you make less than $250K, you don't pay any. If you make more than that, it's a flat tax, motherfucker. It's back, bitch.
This guy's the worst.
He'd legalize gambling statewide. Fix immigration. No specifics. No more blackouts. And he would do this by switching the entire state grid from electric to green power.
I know. I half expected you to be like, he's just going to go with Geico. Moving on.
Oh, also no COVID 2.0 lockdowns, which I think just means if there's more variants, fuck everyone.
Yep.
Lower the cost of gas by reducing regulations, higher pay for teachers, firefighters, and police, and increase gun rights as a means to reduce violent crime.
Oh, boy.
I'm sure there's no statistics on that. So here's the thing. If Gavin Newsom is recalled, the Democrats' best chance is a moderate Democrat who is a fucking libertarian and brings with himself a YouTube following, and barely any of his ideas are functional.
No, this is no bueno.
And so it makes me wonder, like, what are Democrats supposed to fucking do if you don't like Gavin Newsom and you want to...
Suck it up.
What, do you want ayahuasca shaman in here? Fucking do it.
Be the grown-up in the room.
But I mean, I'm not saying you vote to recall Gavin and then when you're looking at the list, vote for something. I'm saying like you vote no for the recall if that's what you want to do. And then amongst the list of progressives, there's not even like a liberal so far in this.
Yeah, no.
So I guess what we got to do is we got to start looking at the thirds to see if there's any options for our progressive brethren and sistren. And so looking at the mid-major parties, we have cosmetologist Heather Collins and attorney Daniel Kaplowitz, who are running for the Green Party. And neither of them have a website. So good job, Green Party, you did it. For the Libertarians, you have County Supervisor Jeff Hewitt, who is one of the few Libertarians in the nation to hold elected office. And he would probably be a solid nominee if he actually had any policy listed, but he doesn't really seem to be doing this seriously. It seems mostly it's just like the Libertarians need someone on the ballot. They know they're not going to win, but Jeff will do it.
Oh.
And so let's move on to the third parties that California doesn't recognize. So these are all parties that don't have enough support in the state for them to have their party name on the ballot, but operate as their own party. You have retired college professor James Hanink, who is running for the American Solidarity Party, which is sort of a Catholic conservative group. They just recently won their first election last year in Hartford, Ohio. They're very traditional marriage, pro-life, but also the sanctity of life even after birth. So it's like peace, love, and no abortions. It's an interesting group. I think they fit a very unique niche. And then you have the Socialist Workers Party, the most incompetent party in America.
Get it.
They have a guy named Dennis Richter who's running, and he doesn't have a website because
You cowards.
Of course they don't. Their presidential nominees don't even have a website. All it does is link to their shitty, poorly formatted newspaper, and that's all they ever fucking do. Fucking quit, you commies. Anyway.
Rusty, I think this means that we need to embark on a little Photoshop fun and start putting together our own websites for these people. Just like buy up the names.
I don't. Look, it's up to them to seize the production. I'm not gonna do it for them. It's in their fucking little red book, man. It's up to them. Seize those means, motherfuckers. But then we come to a new contender, which, hate to say it, Una, this is the most progressive candidate because they are the most progressive candidate, but it comes with a bit of a caveat. So we're going to be talking about a guy named Michael Loebs, who is running for the California National Party. So the party was founded in 2015 with two goals. One, to encourage the spread of democratic socialism in state politics. And two, to secede from the United States and make California its own nation.
Okay, now we're talking. Now we're getting somewhere.
So one of the first things that they say is, we are not associated with CalExit. We are not associated with any other California secession movements because most of them are run by Russian troll farms. We are not related.
We are legitimately trying to leave the Union.
Yeah, and Michael Loebs makes a point that if you really want to compare the California Nationalist Party to anyone, that they're more in line with the Scottish National Party than anything else.
Oh, that's a little sexy. Who doesn't love the Scots? This is
exactly
great. That's like my brain can wrap around that.
Yeah, and it's a party that's really kind of figured out what to do. It's like, yeah, we'd love for Scotland to be independent, but until then, we'll cooperate with the government. We'll do things that are in our interest and things that we believe in.
Yeah.
But until the day that Scotland gets to be free, we're here. And I think that's a better way to look at it, especially because Michael Loebs and the other folks in the party definitely recognize that immediate secession is a very bad idea, that it has to be a gradual thing so everyone can get their bearings and everything can be sorted out and figured out. It's a very chill secession movement. And so his bio doesn't have a ton, but he was born in Alameda County, I'm assuming San Francisco. His father's family has been living in the state since the early 1900s. His mother's family originate from China. He has been working in the field of computers since the age of 15. He got his undergrad degree from UC Berkeley and the City College of San Francisco before switching over to political science in grad school, where he graduated from the San Francisco State University. And after that, he taught as a professor there. And then in 2019, became the chairperson of the CNP. So I'm going to go pretty quickly through the platform for the party because it's kind of a lot what you would expect. And one thing they really weren't quite expecting is they got a lot of Yang gangers. A lot of Andrew Yang supporters have joined the party. And
really?
Look, the party's about 425 people officially so far, but a decent chunk are folks that are there because they support universal basic income, which I get it. It's a good idea. I love it. They would like to start a state-run bank, and that bank would also run an office of innovation to fund future tech and an equity fund to invest in community businesses. And also, all California residents would get an account to use whether they wanted or not, and there would be a branch in every county. For housing, they would like to define housing as a civil right in the state constitution. They would refocus investment in communities that have been historically redlined, place rent control in neighborhoods that are undergoing gentrification, create a housing security fund that can be used like Social Security and help people attain housing at some point in their life, require all urban areas to use rainwater collection as a means to collect more usable water. And he would really like to return California back to the former style of regulated state-owned electricity that worked before Governor Pete Wilson caused the blackouts.
Yeah, no shit.
Also, universal pre-K. All classes in high schools will be taught in English and Spanish as needed. They have a huge Stanford stance on childcare and family leave, essentially guaranteeing in law how many weeks and months people are given based on the size of the business. Anyone who gets a GPA above 2.5% is immediately accepted into Cal State, and anyone with a 3.3 or above immediately gets into University of California. You get Medicare for all. Probably one of my favorite things, he would double the size of all reservations in California as a way to begin repayment to the indigenous peoples of the state. Supports ranked choice voting. He would like to increase the California State Assembly from 80 to 396 people.
Why that number?
Because weirdly enough, that number equals one representative for every 100,000 people in the state.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not like fucking New Hampshire where you have 400 members of the state house, despite the fact that, there's probably more moose than people.
Right. 400 people are in the house for the 5,000 who live in the state.
And he supports getting rid of qualified immunity, having a state body in charge of punishing officers, not local jurisdictions. And of course, he supports the eventual independence of California as its own sovereign nation.
Very into this.
It's not terrible. If you're looking for like a solid progressive candidate and don't mind voting for a dude with a ponytail, like,
whoa,
I know. I was trying to hide it under the rug. He slightly pulls it off. I mean, you went to Berkeley. Let him be. That was like, it's a course requirement. Ponytail ethics. But yeah, I mean, if you're a progressive Californian and you want to vote for someone with your ideals, the California National Party is about your only option, and they're going to be listed as an independent on the ballot. So Michael Loebs, that's your only guy.
All right. Well, Godspeed, Michael.
But we need to lighten things up a bit before we get to the real shithouse. Because we have one person returning from the 2003 election.
Hey.
And it's a pink-wearing punk rock firecracker by the name of Angeline. So like I said, she ran in 2003. Her whole background is she was a kind of new age punk singer for a little bit. Ended up becoming famous in Los Angeles because a marketing friend of hers really liked what I think could justifiably be described as a bimbo aesthetic, and used her image to just put up billboards all over the city advertising nothing. It's just Angeline. And she ended up becoming incredibly famous in Los Angeles during a period of time in the 80s. She was a billboard meme, got acting jobs, and she's still tooling around the city in her pink convertible, hanging out with her dog, giving interviews, and just, being herself. And from what I've been told from friends, is an incredibly nice person. Oh. And her campaign has a platform, which is more than I could say for most of the fucking Democrats running. So before I get to that, it should be noted that her shop is asking a bit much. You can buy a sticker for $30, or you can buy a face mask for $100. But this is also $100. But this is also because she's not accepting direct campaign donations, so I assume that's probably to balance it out. But she also says that if you really want to donate to her campaign, find a local houselessness charity and donate to them instead.
Oh.
So her platform: police reform. Police will be immediately fired after 3 complaints, which if that was applied in the city of Chicago, we would have 7 cops.
You know what? Do it, motherfuckers.
It'd be the 7 best cops you ever had.
Yes, it'd be 7 cops who have not had a complaint yet.
But to balance out, oh my God, they're all 21, but
they just started.
Fingers fucking crossed.
Yeah.
But to balance out this new stressor, she would guarantee a policeman's ball every year, which I don't think is the governor's, job, but you know what? She loves parties. She would abolish all for-profit prisons, encourage for-profit rehab facilities, which is, I don't like that, because a lot of them do not try to help people.
Yeah, that's $4,000 to stay at a hotel for a week.
So this cucumber water will make me stop wanting crocodile? Is that? She would be against using plea deals to coerce confessions, require all social workers to only have one houseless client at a time. Now this one, she refers to this as grassroots housing, and it's a really bad idea. So essentially, you're a social worker. You get one houseless client, and once that client is housed, then it is up to that housed client to take on a houseless person to then house them.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's no. I see where she's going with it, and maybe if it's just like social workers can only have one client at any time, it would grind the system to a halt. But at least with that, it's like at least professionals are handling it.
Yeah,
but
as a housed person, I can barely deal with other people.
Ooh, the governor's masquerade ball. She would have an official state party with no dress code, except you can't show up naked. Pets are invited, but they have to have costumes. Literally everyone is invited. But to ensure that Sacramento isn't suddenly hosting a party where the whole state shows up, each county would hold their own separate ball. Also, it is requested that you send in whatever food or drink you like ahead of time.
This is ridiculous.
She would instate Bubble Bath Day, wherein it would be a holiday in which everyone is required by law to wash something or someone. However, this could be done yourself, you could pay someone to do it, or it could be done in your mind's eye, quote, if you meditate on cleaning.
Then that doesn't fucking count. Then it's just another Tuesday.
It's just a nice day, Una. You're not wrong, but it's I see where she's going.
Mr. Bubbles, or get the fuck out.
But she would want to abolish daylight savings time, offer job rehabilitation to all politicians, hold a healthcare forum every 2 years where all California citizens will take part in an online forum to evaluate how well healthcare is doing.
Oh my God.
I'm sure that would go just fine. Like, there aren't going to be a ton of Hitler memes on that forum, I give you that. And all insurance companies that don't cooperate with healthcare changes from these forums will be banned from operating in the state of California.
Deuces, Kaiser.
Oh my God. She wants to stop raising taxes. Jury duty would no longer be required. It would be more of a volunteer position that would actually be offered as a full-time job, where you would be paid a living wage as a juror.
Yes, no.
Yeah. Kind of get it, kind of don't. Because you're going to get some fucking lunatics on that fucking jury. You're going to get people who just want to make people suffer and be paid to do it. Plus, you get a free hotel room all the time.
Yeah. My mother thought like it would be great for like out-of-work actors to just constantly be in the jury pool because...
That would be great.
Yeah, they're a good judge of character.
But probably my favorite thing in her platform, she wants to host a yearly UFO convention. Now, this isn't because she believes in UFOs, and it isn't because she wants to really kind of push the paranormal or new age. She thinks it would be a really nice retreat for the politicians to be able to clear their mind and think about something completely different than what they do every single day.
I love that her kookiest platform, like, take a sharp left turn.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you expect this from me, but you don't expect the why behind it.
Yeah, UFO convention for self-care.
Yeah, specifically for politicians.
Yeah. Hey, are you worried your wife's going to find out about your affair and also that budgeting bill's not going to go through? How about we talk about lizard people for a bit? That'll help you cool off.
Come on down to Mount Shasta.
We're going to go to Barstow and learn about the various spaceships that have been found. You know, I mean, that in and of itself would probably be my favorite day if I was like a state senator. I would be on the calendar. I'd be looking forward to it. I would like be sending emails to Angeline every day, just being like, I can't fucking wait. This is going to be so much fun.
Yeah, I'd be going up to like my friends, state senators, and, you know, like acting like it's camp.
Yeah, oh my God. What if it was an overnight?
It would have to be, obviously.
God. All right, so here's what it is. Angeline, I hope you don't mind. I'm going to tweak it a little bit. UFO convention, probably in Barstow. It seems like a good place for it. All housing is at the local KOA camp. You could pick a cabin if you want, if you're a fucking loser, but everyone else is going to camp out under the goddamn stars and tell spooky stories and make s'mores. And we're going to make State Senator James Gallagher pee himself because he fell asleep early, and we have a bottle of water. It's going to be great. It's going to be like Jewish day camp. It's going to be great.
Yes, but with really good Napa blends.
My God, yes. Oh my God, I want that so bad.
I brought a Pinot for everyone to share.
Aw, it's so nice. You know what? Maybe we can get this budget reconciliation to work.
This is so beautiful.
God damn it, Angeline. That's such a good... I love it.
You're
Which
so
leads us to
smart,
our
so
final
nice.
batch of people. The party with the best chance of winning if Gavin Newsom is recalled. The Republicans.
Boo!
And for this race, 21 members of the GOP have filed to enter, and the selection is all over the place. On one end, you have David Hilberg, a dude with no campaign site, but he does have an IMDb, which includes a couple of appearances on Tim and Eric Awesome Show. Great job. I'm not gonna lie, he had one line, and he nailed it. His character was a raper.
Oh.
Yeah. It's, it was a choice, and he's running for office. And then, of course, we have the star of reality TV. You know him, you love him, Steve Chavez Lodge. Now, I know that name probably doesn't sound familiar, but that's just because I don't think either of us watched The Real Housewives of Orange County.
We do not. This is true.
Turns out Steve Lodge is the fiance of Vicki Gunvalson. I believe that's how you say her name. He's been on the show a couple of times, and now he's like, yeah, I'm going to run for governor.
This is peak California. I'm here for this.
Yeah, this primary has everything. Businessmen, a couple of pastors, a handful of marketing executives, a sheriff by the name of Denver Stoner.
No.
But on top of it all, you got a ton of folks with political experience. So many that there are even folks you'd expect to see leading the way who are barely polling above 2%. And on that end, you have State Senator Ted Gaines, who currently oversees tax collection in the entire state, which I'm sure is going to win him some fans. And you also have former U.S. Congressman Doug Ose, who, in the year of our Lord, 2003, introduced a bill to the United States Congress to ban the airing of George Carlin's 7 Dirty Words bit. And he only succeeded at naming 6 of the 7 dirty words accurately.
And you had to say them out loud?
I don't think he said them out loud, but in the bill, he named them all except he missed tits and instead put asshole.
Idiot.
Yeah. I mean, he was on an episode of Gilmore Girls, so, you know, a win there. But
Lord.
yeah, in the year of our Lord, 2003, why is, like, this is 2 years after 9/11. Why is this what you're worrying about, Doug? Oh, man. But yeah, neither of them have polled above 2%, which means we have to focus on the serious candidates. The folks who are going to be in the shit from day one, all the way up to election day. People like the other reality TV show star in the race, Caitlyn Jenner. Now, Jenner has carved out a really unique niche in the GOP as more of a centrist social liberal, and I'm sure she has some plans for the state, but I'm not going to talk about a single fucking one of them. And you know why, Una? Because 2 days before the filing deadline, she announced that she was going to be in Australia during the entire campaign because she got a spot on Celebrity Big Brother Australia.
Oh, God. California! You should be your own country. You're another world.
But it's totally cool. Caitlin's running in the 2022 election, and unless Norway has a Big Brother or like show that she needs to be on, she's totally going to be here this time. And so then we have the next two frontrunners who are, well, one is very boring. The first is former mayor of San Diego, Kevin Faulconer. Now, Faulconer has been seen as the next great Republican chance for the party in California for as long as I can remember. Rumors have been swirling since at least 2014 that one day he's going to run for governor, he's going to run for senator. And each year he's like, no, I'm going to do 2 terms of mayor of San Diego, and then we'll see what happens when I'm turned out. And now that he's turned out, he's hopping right on in. So Kevin was born in San Jose, California in 1967. And you know, I've been trying really, really hard to get myself psyched to talk about Kevin Faulconer for about 20 minutes, and I can't do it. He's just a normal guy. He's a normal guy, Una. He's a fiscal conservative, a social liberal. He has nothing bad has happened to him. His life is basic and normal. And this kind of feels like a problem because in any other time, I'd be excited to talk about this dude who has a lot of really good opinions. He is really passionate about fixing the homeless problem and notes that NIMBYism is the main thing that's keeping California from fixing shit.
Hey.
He's pro-choice. He's pro-gay marriage. He put forth a measure in San Diego to build more affordable homes and then immediately banned those homes from ever being used as Airbnbs.
Oh, nice.
And unlike other Republicans, he mostly took COVID seriously. I mean, he did allow the beaches in San Diego to reopen about a month after the pandemic started, but compared to everyone else, it could have been worse. And yeah, he vetoed a minimum wage increase in the city, but that got overturned. But he also supports a pathway to citizenship. It's a low bar of, well, at least this dude isn't a fascist, but talking about him, I just want to fall asleep.
He's the San Diego weather of candidates. It's just nice.
He's a normal, nice
time.
There's nothing here. He's a normal, nice guy. He's qualified for the job. If Gavin loses and he wins, it's not going to change that fucking much. And I don't know if this is just the curse of living in a post-2016 world where, like, I got nothing to say about this guy. I don't even want to look at his platform because I'm sure it's just niceties and good ideas. And
I think we can just leave it at that. Like,
yeah.
Yep, okay, that's a good candidate, which is what's supposed to happen.
Exactly. It's like, I might not agree with everything you say, but I know for a fact it's all coming from a good place.
It's hard when your cortisol levels have just been spiked through the roof for the past 4 years.
Yeah.
Like, we're all just chasing that dragon.
So to balance that up, let's talk about a guy who I could probably just call a can of Four Loko and an oversized syringe. And that would be businessman John Cox. So John Cox was born in 1955 in Chicago, Illinois. He grew up in the suburb of Alsip and graduated high school in Oak Lawn, which are like suburbs of Chicago. Yeah. John would get his BA in accounting and political science at the University of Illinois at Chicago, and then he'd go on to get his law degree at the Illinois Institute of Technology, a thing I didn't know they did.
Yeah, no, but homeboy doing well in the academic region.
Oh yeah. He grew up Jewish, but would eventually convert to Catholicism after marrying his second wife, Sarah.
Ah, that's a red flag.
Yeah. In 1981, John created his first law firm, John H. Cox & Associates, and primarily had a focus on corporate law and taxes. And in 1985, he founded a second business, the Cox Financial Group. Now, this is where things get fucky. So if you asked John as late as 2018 what his greatest success was at this time, he would have stated it was him saving the floundering Jay's potato chip company. Now, if you want to know what Jay's tastes like, just imagine the potato chip company that you always forget that exists in your local area. Mm-hmm. It's not bad, but if you're at a picnic and someone had to save money, it's going to be Jay's.
Yes, 100%.
Their flavors are plain and shrug. But yeah, Jay's was having a rough time, so they brought in John, asked him to fix their finances, and wouldn't you know it, he saved the company from certain bankruptcy. But it wouldn't be until the LA Times started looking into it that they found a court filing made in 1998, in which John was sued for financial misconduct by the company. According to the filings, John had, quote, engaged in self-dealing, charged excessive and unnecessary fees, misappropriated partnership funds, and violated Illinois law. And when asked about this, John would just say that it was a frivolous lawsuit, there's nothing to see here, and there's no reason that he just paid $1.7 million out of court in 1999.
You know, it's just, he's just so well off. It's easier to just...
Like, you know how it is. You're in the spreadsheet. You're surrounded by potatoes. You just gotta, sometimes you just forget where the money goes when you're trying to save a company.
You just want the NDA signed at the end of the day.
Man, you gotta break a few rolls of quarters if you're gonna save a company. So in the year 2000, there would be a pretty huge shift for John, because up until this year, he was a registered Democrat. In the year 2000, I think he discovered that he could make a pretty good living as a firebrand conservative. So in that year, he switched his party allegiance and went to WJJG, an AM station in Chicago. And he would end up buying airtime to run his own show twice a week called The Progressive Conservative. conservative. And it's during this time that he used his radio show to make an immediate jump into running for political office, which is something I don't think you're allowed to do. But the FEC kind of doesn't like that, but I don't think anyone stopped him.
Especially on AM.
Yeah. Like pretty much small dogs and truckers are hearing this. That's about it. Like your National Weather Service radio might pick it up accidentally.
I like that he got to the year 2000 and was like, why 2K? Why not 2K? Let's do this.
Fuck off. Damn it. So in the year 2000, he ran for U.S. Congress. He spent $500,000 of his own money on his campaign, and he finished 5th in the Republican primary. And in 2002, he ran for U.S. Senate because if you completely fucked up Congress, you might as well try for a bigger position.
And this is in Illinois still? He's still
this is in Illinois.
Okay. All right.
And he ended up finishing 3rd out of 3. And finally, in 2004, he chose a race that he could run for that didn't have a GOP primary because it was the Cook County Recorder of Deeds race. Which, if you're gonna...
boy.
Yeah.
Come on.
And his platform is real simple. I'm gonna get rid of this position. I don't think it should exist.
Hire me to fire me.
Yeah. And he got 29% of the vote and lost very badly. And as is gadfly tradition, when a whole series of stellar failures occur, you go for the highest office in the land that you can. And in 2008, John Cox became the first Republican to announce his candidacy for president. So this announcement was discussed by barely anyone, and John would drop out of the race before the primaries even started. However, he did end up on a couple of state ballots, so technically he finished in 10th. And probably sensing that being a firebrand Republican in Chicago, Illinois wasn't going to get him that much success, John packed and he went west, settling in Rancho Santa Fe, California, a suburb of San Diego. And he kept up his businesses and began making a name for himself via his new pet ballot initiative called California is Not for Sale! You know what, Una? I actually kind of love it. Because the whole point of the ballot initiative is that if it passed, all state assembly members and state senators would have to wear on the back of their suits the top 10 corporations that donate to them.
Oh my God.
And on its face, I love it. But I thought of one thing immediately that would kind of fuck with things. Because, you know, there are some companies that are really good capitalist pranksters. Folks like Cards Against Humanity or Pornhub. And I could absolutely see them picking one ultra-conservative senator or assemblyman and being like, hey, Pornhub would like to give you $2 million, sir.
We're gonna shell company this just enough so that you take our money and then we reveal ourselves.
I mean, also, it's probably cheaper than buying a NASCAR or something. You gotta... But also, do they have to be specifically the logos, or can you just go to a Joann Fabrics and just buy a bunch of iron-on letters and then you're good?
Yeah, who's making these custom suits?
Yeah, there's a patch business that would be doing really good in this alternative universe. Also, who is going to fucking sew on a patch on your Brooks Brothers suit? Like, you'd have to go to Joseph A. Bank and find a $200 suit and just be like, I can't, otherwise I have to fuck up this suit. We're all going to look like high school superintendents.
Yeah, everyone's going to look terrible. And then they're just going to switch out to their Armani actual suits at the end of the day.
Yeah, so it's an idea.
Black market for those patches.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Can you imagine having like an old school bowling shirt and then a Pornhub patch?
Pornhub, Raytheon, BP.
Yeah.
That's a lot of businesses to fit on one suit too. I mean,
P&E.
You know, if I was Pornhub, what I would do is I would do my best to be the 10th highest, so it has to be near the butthole. That's my proposal. Either which way, in 2016, John would get the closest that he ever did with this proposal, but he was still about 100,000 signatures short, so it never was able to get to a public vote. But after doing all of this work and kind of staying out of running for politics for a while, he built up a name for himself. And in 2018, he entered the race for governor of California. And when you know it, the dude ended up having the most party support than he had had in his entire life. He went to the GOP state convention, was only 5 votes short of getting the party endorsement before the election. He got the endorsement of Newt Gingrich, and then he got the crown jewel. Donald Trump gave his unequivocal endorsement. To which John Cox replied, could you not? Could you please not? Because the weird thing about John Cox is in 2016, he voted for Gary Johnson of the Libertarian Party.
Amazing.
He said shit about Donald Trump. When asked by the press, hey, do you support Donald Trump? He very quickly was like, let's move on to another question. How's that for an answer?
That's probably why he got Donald Trump's vote, because a small man who is like, the minute you don't like him, then he respects you.
Yeah. What do you mean I can't have you? Get him. Get this man. But yeah, eventually John Cox, realizing that, you know, in 2018 America, you kind of have to acquiesce and take that endorsement, would make some statements saying that voting for Gary Johnson was a mistake, but he wouldn't go as far as to say he should have voted for Trump.
Yeah.
Which, you know, I mean, that's
dumb.
Yeah. But John also kind of has a real habit of saying whatever he needs to say to get support. For instance, January 2018, he came out against Trump's border wall. Then after getting Trump's endorsement, he suddenly changed his mind. In 2018, he also changed his mind on abortion and LGBTQ plus rights. After spending years railing against both subjects, suddenly, once he was the Republican nominee for governor, he suddenly became somewhat more pro-choice choice and wrote, "I'm looking forward to engaging the LGBTQ community and to revive the California dream," which is some bullshit, but also that's not saying you're all going to go to hell, deuces.
Yeah. I mean, great. Love a weak backbone.
And in the end, John Cox would actually end up in the runoff with Gavin Newsom. It was easily the best success he's ever had in his life. And then Gavin beat his ass. But, John's not a guy to really, run away from another fight. So he entered the race in 2021. And, one of the things about John Cox, when you look at his website, there's a theme. And that theme is screaming feral bears. I don't know if you remember this, but about a month ago, there was a bit of a hullabaloo going on because John Cox had announced that he was running for governor, and he did so outside because COVID, and socially distanced about 20 feet away was a living fucking grizzly bear, just kind of sitting, chilling out, doped out on something.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he got to rent a grizzly to show up because,
no.
Well, and people started making fun of him, and he got mad afterwards because more people were interested in the bear than him.
Yeah.
It's like, you brought a bear to a fucking announcement, dude. Of course people are going to be looking at this drug-addled bear sitting at least a car length between you.
When you said feral bears, I thought you meant the tone of his writing.
Oh, no. I am talking literal bears. I am going to send you
bears,
John Cox's website because it includes not one, not two, but 3 gaping maws of furious ursine anger machines. My personal favorite would probably be his campaign logo. Yeah, that campaign logo is something. Oh my God. So the general theory behind his campaign is that he's running as a beast because Gavin Newsom's a pretty boy and it's beauty versus the beast. And you look at John Cox, he's wearing like a powder blue sweater vest. And like he's definitely a guy who wears a button-up shirt and khakis everywhere he goes, whether he's going golfing or not. So you look at that guy, you're just like, he might yell at you in a parking lot for taking a space he thought was his, but that's about it.
Yeah.
But his campaign logo, I think, is best described as it's just his name. It just says Cox. Only the O, a grizzly bear has emerged. It appears to have eaten the center of the O, and everyone else is next.
Yeah, it's like the MGM logo.
Yeah, 100%.
Put through like a 4chan filter.
Also, dude, you can't run a campaign where the first thing you think when you look at the logo is Bear Cox. High schoolers exist, Jonathan. Do you want that?
This is, I mean, it's like someone went back in time and took the Colbert Report's like running joke about bears and then stripped it of satire.
It's madness. It's even his campaign videos feature like a parrot constantly saying like "pretty boy," and then like showing Gavin Newsom looking hunky as shit. Like he can't even find a bad picture of Gavin Newsom for his ads because they don't exist.
Impossible.
And so I don't know what the plan is here, but it's a bad one.
Surfing, palm trees, bear. I'm sorry, I put the video on. Oh my God.
Surfing, palm tree,
bear. Homelessness, Texas,
bear.
Firefighters closed, more homeless, bear.
These bears are hungry for policy.
And there's Gavin Newsom.
Oh
my God, he's beautiful.
Yeah.
He's in California. How does he think this is helping?
It's the worst. It is absolutely the worst. And the crazy thing is John Cox is leading in the polls, but asterisk, the last poll was paid for by John Cox, so it's kind of hard to tell if that still applies.
Shut up.
But he was leading the last one in May that was done independently. But yeah, he's a known name because he was the nominee last time. But you know what? He's full of bears. I'm sure those bears have policy. And the answer is not really. It's a lot of like, we should change this. We should do that. John promises to, quote, make beastly changes to reduce taxes across the board, which he also claims to be, quote, unbearable. I don't think that second one was meant to be a dad joke, but someone should have told him.
So he has no friends. God.
No, he does not. Yeah, he wants to open up all the schools, pandemic be damned. That's one of the few things he's clear about. And to fix homelessness, he would only give housing options to the houseless after they've completed a mental health and or substance use program. And that, if need be, people need to be forced into these programs. So essentially arrest people and force them into rehab or mental health programs. And that's it. That's all he's running on right now. It's like, Gavin Newsom's a pretty bitch, and I'm mad. Look at my bears.
Also, so again, I'm on the website and I click the About page. Meet John Cox. John Cox is the nicest, smartest beast you'll ever meet in California. This is so desperate, Dusty.
Look, he clearly is very unaware of Yogi Bear, who has his faults, but he has a heart of gold. That dead silence followed by I hate all this. Yeah, John Cox has no idea what he's doing, and he's somehow ass backwards fallen into moderate success. And Una, I would really love to end here, but we have a late entrant who might end up being the ultimate wild card in this whole fucking thing. So as a quick reminder, the Newsom recall has been headed up by a dude by the name of Orrin Heatley. And Orrin, well, he's not really a huge fan of either Kevin Faulconer or John Cox. But lucky for him, he had a potential ally just waiting to step forward. State Assemblyman Kevin Kiley. That's right, we got Kevin number 3.
Jesus Christ.
At one point, it was estimated there would be 6 Kevins running in this race. I hate that that's the weirdest thing about this primary. It should be weirder. So Kevin was born in Sacramento, California in 1985.
Oh no, we got a contemporary.
His dad was a physician. His mom was a teacher. And when Kevin graduated high school in 2003, he was the class's valedictorian. He then went off to Harvard University. He'd earned his BA in 2007 with a thesis paper called The Civil Rights Movement and the Reemergence of Classical Democracy. Una, what do you think that means? Because I don't know.
I mean, it just seemed to be a paper. I don't know.
No, I didn't. No worries. No worries. I looked up classical democracy, and it's just like Greek thought on democracy and the civil rights movement.
Yeah, so it's like civil rights movement and Jeffersonian thoughts on.
I mean, I wouldn't bring up Jefferson in a civil rights discussion, but I mean, you fucking do you, I guess.
My thesis, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure Harvard has very strict guidelines, but I don't know, man. I wish I could read it. It's nowhere to be found. Either which way, he followed this up doing Teach for America for a little bit, got his teaching degree at Loyola Marymount, where he was also crowned national debate champion in 2008.
Ooh.
And then he went and got his law degree from Yale, and he went and actually put it to really good use. In 2013, he began working as a pro bono attorney and was honored as one of the best in the country by the U.S. District Court.
Well, damn.
And then it takes a turn, because at this time, sometime around 2015, at the age of 31, he was appointed to Deputy Attorney General of the entire state of California.
Fuck this guy.
But you know what? That position just wasn't for him. And within a year, he would end up being elected to the state assembly. Now, I would take a bit of this time to talk about his accomplishments in the state assembly, usually just looking through Wikipedia because I just didn't have time to look through newspaper articles this time around. But it is really clear that his campaign staff got to the page before I did.
Amazing.
So one example is he claimed that one of the first things he did was to pass a resolution to protect all forms of speech on college campuses. And that resolution got unanimous support, which raised a bit of a red flag to me because typically when conservatives talk about free speech on college campus, it means a very certain kind of free speech should be allowed and the rest they have issues with. So I looked into it, and it wasn't so much a resolution for a law. It was a resolution to honor the chancellor of UC Irvine for his support of free speech. It was an honorific vote, and that was fucking it.
That was it?
Yep, that's it. So rather than go through all of the bills that he's introduced, I'm just going to skip to what makes him such a sudden hot prospect for this election. Jesus. What makes him a sudden hot prospect for this election?
Freudian slip.
Sorry, I was thinking about Gavin Newsom.
We're all getting dicked over by his recall.
This is going to be the height of this podcast. So he sued Gavin Newsom because prior to the 2020 election, Gavin had signed an executive order in which all eligible voters in the state would receive a mail-in ballot, whether they requested one or not. Because it's COVID, people are dying, and the more people you can keep out of voting booths, the more people who are going to fucking live. And so Kevin sued him. And he won in the initial court case, which I imagine the argument was probably that's the Secretary of State's decision. But for Kevin, it was more like, this guy has been doing executive orders nonstop. He did an executive order to shut down schools in April 2020. And kids don't die that much from COVID, so, which is something he is still whinging about today, saying that kids don't die from COVID. We should have kept the schools open. And it's some drunk bullshit because it's like, oh, let's just let the teachers die, I guess. Or maybe the staff. Or maybe the reason fewer kids have died from COVID is because we kept them at home. Who fucking knows, man? But whatever. And so eventually the court decision in favor of Kevin got appealed up to the next level and the court threw it out. But he still's out there claiming that he sued Gavin and won. So either way, his ability to take on Gavin and sort of win, along with his continuance of downplaying the seriousness of the COVID pandemic, has made him a bit of a young darling amongst the more right-wing folks looking for someone outside of the old school Bush Republican who's running and a mind-changing bear fetishist. And thanks to Heatley's support, it looks like Kevin will be that guy for them. And he's never been involved in any of the polls that have been listed so far, so it's kind of hard to tell how much of his support actually exists. And while his campaign page is full of just vague shit, his 250-page book on why Gavin Newsom needs to be recalled offers some interesting things that he might do as a governor. And Una, I'm going to tell you this, the book was free. I would not pay for this whiny bullshit. There is a whole chapter where he dunks on Gavin Newsom for making a campaign video where it's set in the Mario Kart universe. And he's just like, no one watched it. It was a waste of money. And it went for 10 pages.
These guys want to fuck Gavin Newsom so hard.
Join the club, man. Look, if I met Gavin Newsom in Paris, I would have gone to my parents and said, look, I got to move into Gavin's house, man. It's the only way.
I need to live in that half-furnished basement.
Look, I will help pay the bills because, as we remember, Gavin's upbringing, at least until he got to college, was one of poverty and struggle. So, look, man, I'm here to help out your
Makes
mom.
him hotter.
It's gonna be, oh my god. What, you know the Gettys? Oh, I'll just save that in my back pocket. That's some future knowledge.
Yeah.
That's some after the marriage knowledge. So I can't tell how serious he is about this as a prospect, but he kind of brings up the idea that, people have been talking about California seceding, that maybe what they should do instead, and this is something some other dude came up with, is that the state should be broken up into 3 regions that kind of act as their own autonomous areas. And so the governor has less responsibility, and these 3 autonomous regions just kind of run themselves.
I know, I understand divvying up California the same way that some people say it's we need to divvy up the country, or how, the argument that the United States is made up of 11 nations based on regionalities. It's Northern California is so wildly different from, I don't know, Santa Barbara, San Luis Obispo, to say nothing of Fresno, or, the people literally living off the grid outside of Joshua Tree.
Yeah. So there's that. And then the only other thing I was really able to suss out is that he believes there should be a stronger focus on citizenship as a lesson in high schools, which he seems to interpret as, if you teach citizenship, not just civics, but citizenship, then that will leave children stronger for when they go to college and their free speech is threatened. So to me, that just seems like some vague 1776 project bullshit, but I could be wrong.
No, it sounds like indoctrination against the boogeyman of actual free thought.
Yeah. And that's pretty much it. I mean, Kevin's a dude who's a little bit younger than us, and he's definitely got the charisma. He knows how to debate, and he's got the support.
Debate me, you coward!
I should be governor of California. Change my mind. And yeah, that's pretty much where we are right now. I mean, weirdly enough, even the Trumpists don't have a very strong candidate who's leading right now. And Kevin's kind of their option, even though I haven't really seen anything that clearly makes him a Trumpist. He just seems to be in denial about how bad COVID actually is.
Yeah.
It kind of feels like Ted Cruz thought projects more than anything else. Yeah, and it's not like on his website he has any Make America Great shit or anything like that. He's just a young dude who all these recall people like, and by association are folks who are hardcore Trumpists. So,
which means maybe he's not grifting either.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to tell. It's clear he's a smart guy, and he's had moments where he's used his smarts for good. And if you want to be wrong about COVID, you're allowed to do that. Just maybe don't be governor while you're doing it. And I hate to say it, Una, but that's it. There's no different ending on this. It's like, if you're a progressive, vote for the secessionist. If you're a Trumpist, vote for the guy who just showed up. And as it is right now, if Gavin loses, you're either going to get Kevin Faulconer, who's, I believe, would do a solid job, might not do all the things I want him to do, but he's not going to burn the state down on purpose. Or John Cox is going to lead his bear army into Sacramento, and it'll be 50 days of darkness or something.
Or just vote not to have a recall.
It's just so weird, because especially knowing how bizarre and strange 2003 was, this is just kind of just sad. It's so sad who has shown up. And Kevin Faulconer's not a sad guy. Gavin Newsom, I don't think, is a bad dude. He just makes rich person mistakes. And it's just all so weird. We don't have to do this, guys. You could have waited a year. You could have waited 1 fucking year to do this. Whatever. I don't know. I have no words of wisdom. I have no positivity at the end of this. It's just a lot of shit that leaves more questions than answers.
It's not quite a Godfather 3, but it's definitely most sequels.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, is this the Space Jam 2 of recall elections?
Yes.
We tried to bring together all the IP properties, but we missed all the ones that people wanted. Anyway, on that note, thank y'all so much. I appreciate y'all making my staying up till 4 a.m. on the night that the fucking list dropped so worth it. Well, no, you read the phrase ayahuasca shaman, you're gonna stay up longer than you plan. So on that note, everyone, if you live in California, go out there, vote however the hell you want. I'm just some jackass who lives in Chicago. I don't know how your state works, man.
Please vote. Please vote.
Yeah, we're just a pair of chuckle fucks who like making jokes. So it is what it is. And everyone, thank you so much for listening to Gadfly. We'll see you next week on Gadfly. California Bears.
Gadfly is a production of Added Serotonin. Our episodes are edited by Brianna Valentine of Rem Alternus Productions. Our theme song is Sophomore Makeout by Silent Partner, and you can find us on Twitter and Instagram at GadflyPod.
Ready to level up your cosplay game? Check out the Geek Forge on Etsy. With a variety of props to give your photos that extra spark, you'll find just what you need. hold magical fire in the palm of your hand, or take a potion to restore your mana. With a large variety of colors, you can choose your own magical flavor for your cosplay. Bring drama to your photo shoots with these vibrant props and more, all available at the Geek Forge. Are you ready to level up your cosplay?